Dan didn't run for 3 weeks whilst we're stabilising his shoulder, and we've tried to put 2 weeks of loading into 10 days to understand how fit he was, and he just pulled up a little bit tight from what he did last week. So, rather than risk potential injury with him and him not be available for selection, I'm happy to say now that he is available for selection, but it's a difficult call as he hasn't played, and Sam Dugdale's been going really well for us.
I'm assuming by how you're talking, you haven't yet made that decision, because as you said, Sam Dugdale's been playing really well. Dan hasn't played since Cardiff away at the start of April, but the calibre of player he is, it must be very tempting to put him back in, even though he hasn't played in a while.
All of what you just said, Kieran, yeah.
In terms of other players that didn't play, Nick Shona, I know we spoke last week and you said you were confident or cautiously optimistic he'd be fit this weekend. Where is he going to be available? And also Tom O'Flaherty got injured just before the Gloucester game playing football, which I know annoyed you. Where is he up to going this weekend?
It didn't annoy me that he was playing football. It frustrated me that he got injured. Like, I'm not going to stop him playing football, having a crack, which he does every pitch walk, every away trip. They've come through last week well, and it's important that I don't show my hand too early here, Kieran. So I apologise for not being as perhaps explicit as I am later in the week, as I have been. This is right at the start of the week, so these guys, as yet, have to be confirmed through a training week whether or not they're able to perform at the weekend, and we haven't started training yet. So,
were Tom Curry and Aka van der Merwe purely rested on Saturday?
Yes.
Okay. I asked about Tolu Latu last week, and you were quite gushing in your praise of him. Reports over the weekend, the French club might be coming in for him. I think it's been reported today that Montpellier might be pulling out of a deal signed Luke Cowan-Dickie and therefore might be going in for Tolu. What is the latest, or do you not have an update on
that? I've heard that he has been signed for twice the amount of money that we offered him. Salary cap issues.
Yeah. Just one final one from me, because I'm wary of everyone else wanting to get questions in. Just how big a game, both on and off the field, is this for the club? It's a sellout at home on Sunday, sold out very, very quickly. This is, without wanting to get too philosophical, this is a pretty huge game for Stale, not just in this moment in the season, but potentially for North West Rugby going forward.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, both things, Kieran. But thankfully, this isn't our first rodeo of recent times for this group. We've learnt from 2 years ago how to manage these kind of moments better. So it is a game of grand magnitude, of which we are looking to enjoy and embrace and not be overwhelmed by. That's the challenge.
Great. I'll see you on Sunday, Alex. Thank you.
Cheers, Kieran. Thanks, mate.
Hi, Alex. I'll jump in if that's all right.
Hi, Al. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, all good, thank you. All good. If Luke Cowan-Dickie was to become available, is he someone you would be keen to look at?
Yeah, why wouldn't you? Yeah, he's a great player. I don't know if we're being the right price point, but he's got mates up here as well, and he fits our kind of game model in the kind of that Ian Ashman, Aka van der Merwe mould, doesn't he? He's a banger, so yeah, he ticks a box on a lot of fronts there. I haven't spoken. Sorry,
carry on.
No, I just haven't spoken to him. I haven't spoken to Luke, so there's nothing, no progressions there in terms of that actually materialising.
I remember the other day you talking about how you lost Ewan and, how much of a sort of disappointment that was for you. So I guess there would potentially be, a gap there to be filled perhaps.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, and that's something else we have to address as the selection syndicate that we have, because Ethan Kane came on the weekend and did really, really well for a young lad. He packed a punch, and the set piece was spot on. So, we don't want to block his pathway.
Just last couple from me. I mean, how much are you personally looking forward to this weekend? As Kieran said, it's going to be a great occasion, a huge occasion. It's what you sort of came to this club for, I would guess.
Yeah. I haven't really thought about it. I don't mean that sounds almost complacent. Like, we've been working towards it. We've been building for this, and seriously, for 2 years. Certainly since a year last Christmas, when we realised that we had a lot of work to do as an organisation. Me personally, but all of us. So since a year last Christmas, we've looked at how we can give ourselves these kind of opportunities. And now we're here, it feels like we've earned it. So it's less of a fairy tale, as I've said. There's less emotion around this occurrence than there was 2 years ago. More of a now we're here, what do we do about it? So yeah, looking forward to it, but at present I'm not jumping out of my boots.
And just lastly, from a bit of an offbeat question, Master, I just wondered how your coaching style changes when you're working with some guys that are now coming through at the start of their careers. The young players now are sort of all born in 2000, which is quite scary. How does your sort of coaching technique differ when you're working with some of those guys compared to some older guys, perhaps?
Use a bit more slang words. Wear my high tops. No, it's difficult to precisely pinpoint how it changes, because a lot of what I do now is off-field, more in discussion and relationship orientated, which by its very nature, you have to take people as you find them, and after communicating with people at this level for 17, 18 years, there's like an intrinsic kind of naturalistic kind of way of how you interact. So it's kind of how the kids talk about it now. It's how you vibe off people, innit? But always try and approach everyone from a personal perspective first, before the player. So that's just universal. I have been fortunate enough to have been through almost a full cycle with those Saracens lads, from when they were 17 or 18. I was a young coach, and seen them come through to 30. So for the more novice a player, right, this is general research that suggests this. It's not profound or anything. The more explicit you need to be in terms of your communication, and the more expert the player, the more chaotic and open variable Socratic questioning is perhaps a better fit.
Thanks for your time. Good luck. I'll let someone else jump in.
Cheers, Al. Ta.
Hi, Al.
Hello, mate.
Hello. Quick couple for you. What have you got? Obviously, it's Monday, so you said you haven't trained yet, quite obviously. What have you got planned this week? Is it a par week in terms of what you're planning? Is it different in any way because it's a semi-final? How are you planning it out?
Well, we haven't trained, but we have come in. We came in this morning, for a few reasons, really, to knock off Newcastle in terms of the review, which takes up some time and cognitive space, usually in the first day, the review does, and in doing so, it means we can shorten them up the days for the rest of the week, get them out of here early, like lunchtime-ish, and that again kind of takes some anxiety away from them, because you can imagine, like, on weeks like this, the more they hang around with each other, the more they kind of build each other up, G each other up. That's partly, and it's also to frame the week, because this like how busy this is today, that's omnipresent around the organisation. Like there's more white noise Well, real noise, you know. I don't want to dismiss you as white noise. You're not. You're more important than that. But there's a heightened attention from you guys and from. We've got a few docu-crews in and from the family and friends. They get more texts and all that, and we just addressed that as well as, you know, a heightened awareness of selection, and like we referred back to the lads because like the genius is in the masses, in it. So we refer back to 7 or 8 of our lads who have won cups in the past and how they've managed these weeks. Talked about how we can manage these moments better. So there's just a general understanding of how we deal with it and how we don't let it affect or change us, but be aware that it's there. So that's today, and tomorrow we'll have a little look at Leicester. We've got JP coming in, Jamie Peacock, to have a little chat to us about, you know, what champion attitude looks like. He's won 9 Super Leagues and 4 World Challenges or whatever it is. Dude's a legend. So we'll hopefully take a little leaf out of his book and add it to our own, and then we'll start to build. Our mentality, what we're about from Wednesday through to Friday. That's the basic plan.
Have you had Jamie in before?
No. No.
So he's new to everybody.
Yeah, and that's a bit of a risk, isn't it, Ali? Like what you're bringing in, you know, is he aligned? But we've got 3 or 4 league coaches, haven't we, who have known him for years, and they're like, he is so aligned. Like he's the right person, different voice. And sometimes that can just trigger people in the right way from hearing our voices for a full year to hear it from someone from the likes of him. So that's the intention. In terms of the loading, less time on feet. You know, this is, again, general principles around this time of the year, but higher intensity. So speed of thought, speed of action, quicker. You know, and you get that trade-off because you're doing less.
Are you expecting... Obviously, Jamie's part of this, but the kind of the emotional pace that everybody talks about, you have to find on match days like this. Do you think that's going to happen organically because of the way you've planned it out? Are you having to try to monitor it and shape it, or do you think the players now are at the point where that will happen more organically because of who they are and what they've done previously?
But, I'm not going to assume that it's going to be there. I think you have to be intentional around this. This is the torch I've been carrying, in it, since I come here. Like, can we be intentional around a mental skill set that we give the lads and understand it better, what they need, whether it be emotion or clarity or, you know, generally it's on the continuum of both. But what we've been doing well this season, and we will continue to do that this week, I hope can continue to do well this week, is get a feel for it as the week goes on. Certainly we don't want to shoot our emotional bolt too early. We want to build through the week. These are all kind of cliches. But we'll have a handle on Wednesday, after Jamie's been in and we've had a chat about that, as to what we need for Friday. I think that's the best way to do it. Do it on feel and ask the lads what do they need. And then at this point in the season, we should be facilitating. They should be driving it, from my experience.
Brilliant. Thanks, Alex. Enjoy Sunday.
Cheers, Al. See you there. Anyone else?
Alex, Damien from PA.
Hello, mate.
Alex, George Ford has spoken about having a finals mindset. Are you seeing that in the players?
We're seeing the progression of it. Like I say, that's pretty much all we've talked about since pre-Cardiff. Like, this business end is how we can hopefully, and that's obviously the aim, grow into becoming champions, or at least players who have a champion attitude, a champion mindset. And I'm not looking past this game, don't get me wrong. But to get past it, you have to be good enough, don't you, to at least challenge and contend. So we've been talking about how we can grow into that kind of team, and over the weeks, almost through a bit of trial and error, reflection and previewing what aspects, what characteristics work for us within the whole sphere that pertains to that kind of attitude. That's what we're hoping to pull out from Jamie Peacock tomorrow as well.
Sure. And how important to that is the sort of winning mentality of people like George Ford and Manu Tuilagi and people like that who brought success with them?
Crucial, isn't it? Because these are leaders who, as I say, come to the fore at this time of the season. These are guys that have to step up on field and are able to keep their heads and respond and find ways when the plan doesn't work, which invariably doesn't against the better teams. Find ways of navigating to good outcomes, to better outcomes. So been able to draw on their experience, like I've said a couple of times, is crucial. Like I have this morning, and I will tomorrow, and as we go through the week, I'll continue to lean on them, and not that it's a chore for them, they want to.
Yeah. And you mentioned earlier what happened 2 years ago. How much of a motivation is that the experience of what happened then? Yeah,
it's a motivation to do it better. It doesn't motivate me anymore. In fact, I probably wanted it too much 2 years ago. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks very much. Good luck.
Thanks, Damien. Cheers, pal.
Hey, Al. Can I ask you a quick one about Leicester? Are there any differences that you've seen between a Leicester with Steve Borthwick at the helm versus a Leicester with Richard Wigglesworth at the helm?
Many of the most basic core habits and behaviours are still there. Like, they are a highly competitive, very physical team that base their game model around similar aspects of as what we do. It's a championship winning, I believe, or in terms of the consistency, game model. And yet there are some subtle differences, which is what I think has made them better over the last 5 or 6 weeks. And that's been shown in the scorelines and the outcomes, and they are, it doesn't take any numpty, it doesn't take an expert to notice that they're getting more balls back in the air. Pollard's found a rich vein of form, and these are big things. Visa's come back in when he wasn't overly present through the internationals, and Montoya's taken over that leadership captaincy role really well and filled the boots of Genge. So the voids that they had, which were quite obvious at the start of the season, in missing a Ford and missing a Genge, have been filled and improved upon some ways by those few key individuals who have stepped into those roles. Watson's on fine form as well. So they're a team on form who seemingly have got a little bit more licence and who are winning more balls back in the air, which again it makes them more dangerous by way of a kicking threat, but also the attacking transition threat you get off the back of it.
What have you got right against them in the 2 games you've had against them so far? What's been the most pleasing aspect of those performances for you?
Last game, set piece functioned well, and you got to against them. They've statistically got like the second most penalties in the scrums, and 15 out of the 17 line-outs at the weekend. They're mauled. I don't think it's going to be that obvious this weekend, but last weekend against Quins it was. So there's the threat there. We did well against them in those 2 areas last time. We're aware of the necessity to do that again. And I'm sure it's going to be the same thing that Wiggy's going to be talking about this week. That it's going to be a monumental physical battle. It will. It's going to be, and it's not going to be like we're not going to win them all. We won't. But can we win even just 1% more of those collisions either side of the ball? And that's probably considered a win in that area this weekend.
I should one more. Gus War has been central to a lot of the stuff you've done really well. Just a word on sort of his progression, maybe what sort of character he is. He seems ultra competitive, sort of archetypal 9.
Yeah, I kind of waxed lyrical about him last week and probably didn't get my words out well enough. But to give you a bit of background, he's forever been a second choice, Gus. Like, they've always signed other people up and then, let's sign Gus War up as well, because he might come through. And when I come here, you know, I asked him, because of the calibre of scrum halves we have, I asked him to go on loan to Donny, and he did, and did well there. They loved him down there. And then, but consistently through that, he's just learnt his craft. He's just honed his craft, and his decision-making is second to none. Like, he's a good athlete, but he's not the best athlete, you know. He's not as fast as Raf, he's not strong as Faf. But the things he does actually set him apart from them two as well. And by that, I mean his consistency of good decisions, his his ability to energise our own lads and like frustrate and niggle opposition, is second to none. That's what you're perhaps talking about in terms of, you know, the key elements of being a scrum half, a good scrum half. And the lads obviously like him around here, or at least they like to hate him. They love to hate him because he's really cringy in terms of some of his chat, which he just kind of leans into. And you know what? You know, I'm doing it to service it. He drives people. Like, if he puts a kick in and Tom Roebuck doesn't chase it, he'll go at him. He'll be like, "Is that a kick sprint, Tom?" And Tom will be like, "Well, that's 2 meters too long." He goes, "No, it's not." You're like, "Get after it." You know what I mean? So because they're good mates, like, they climb into each other. And I'm like, "Whoa, that's a bit harsh." And then after the session, there's all laughing and joking. That's real special relationship, that, if you can do that. So he's got that with a group that he's playing with, and, you know, an abundance of all the other talents that I mentioned.
Thanks, appreciate it.
To Charlie.
Alex from the Mirror, afternoon.
Yeah. How are you?
Very well. How are you?
I'm good, yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty chilled, so.
Good. How wary are you of Leicester Tigers' championship winning experience?
Oh, yeah.
On paper, you're pretty hot favourites, but it's pretty warm favourites anyway. Yet that they come with a lot of experience of having done it, much like your old club Saracens. How much does that count in a big game like this?
Oh, it's everything. Like, a team playing together in terms of their cohesion and their ability to understand negative contingencies in games of this, in the pressure cooker type games, is worth points on the board. It's worth its weight in gold. You just can't practice experience, can you? And they've got that experience. Not only that, I dare say they're going to be frothing at the mouth, steam coming out the ears, like fire and brimstone. We've beaten them twice, and I've heard through England camp that they want us. They want to play us. Which at the first you're like a little bit like, cheeky bastards, like, you know, why us? Do you think we've got a soft underbelly? It's not that. I don't think. I've just looked at it from their point of view, and if someone beaten me twice, I'd want them. So let's give them the same respect as what we'd give ourselves. So, no, I'm not worried. But I am aware of it. It's definitely going to be an influencing factor, all of that going into this game, and probably something that we'll mention to our boys as well. So thanks for that, Leicester.
In a week when you play Leicester, do you look at George Ford and Manu and see a different look in their eyes because they know what's coming up at the weekend?
No, I haven't seen a different look in their eyes. The last time I tried to motivate Manu, he got sent off. So I don't think he needs the cord pulling. And George is very level-headed anyway. You know what I mean? Really level-headed. So yeah, it's not a different look. These guys have been to World Cup finals, haven't they? You know.
What did you say to Manu that day?
I wonder it's actually come from England. I'm like, they're wondering if you've still got your bang, Manu. And that was it. I'm like, it was irretrievable for the rest of the week. And even afterwards, I took him out after we were doing, you know, the Manu Tuolangi contract saga. Like, we were going seeing him, and I said to him, Manu, like, all week we were saying in meetings how we need to be controlled with our physicality, and I just felt like it was going to happen. He goes, "You know what I did?" And he goes, How can we be better then? Like, do I have to say to you, don't fly an elbow drop someone? Like, do I have to be specific? Or can we have a conversation if we start to both feel it in the week, where we just call it out as opposed to let it ride, which we did?
So you're just going to lock him in an ice bath all week, are you?
I don't know. No, like I say, he seems pretty chilled. He seems good. He seems really chilled. And I think what he's proven since then is that, yes, he's still got his bang. Actually, he's on really good form. He's played some of his best rugby actually, and he's been his most robust. Touch wood, than he's been for the last 10 years this year. So I think we're getting to where we wanted to get with him, which was being in his best form, leading into this World Cup. And that's something else that's on the horizon. That was our deal, mine and Manu's, and now we've got a new deal where I want him to be on form next year as well. But at this point in time, we're in a good place.
Final one from me. How much excitement is there in the Northwest about what Sale are achieving, what they're threatening to achieve this season? I mean, there's a big week for Eurovision up your way. Is it like rugby or music?
I love a bit of Eurovision. Got to say, it's a guilty pleasure. Couldn't get tickets for loving the money. They're going like $5,000, the corporate ones. Yeah. And that wasn't even on Eurovision night. That was like the warm-up. Anyway, I digress. You'll have to ask the Northwest. You're the North. You write for us. How excited are you guys? Our excitement exists within this bubble, and you don't want to talk about the further reach because as I did 2 years ago, it can become overwhelming. You have to kind of stick to process whilst be aware that there's a buzz around and you've got a wider reach. So we tend not to open ourselves up too much to feel what the fans are feeling. But it's been mega busy down the ground, like kind of 5 sellouts. There's loads going on this weekend. We feel the support. We truly do feel the support more than we ever have done in terms of the noise and stuff. And I guess we are. We're flying a flag, but you just got to come. I know it's dead cliche, lads, but we just got to come back to what's been working for us, and that's communicating well and training hard and getting all the kind of non-rugby stuff out of the way at the start of the week. Then we can just focus on enjoying the game. Like, I know it's really cliche, but it's very true.